If you've been into bourbon for a while or you just recently got swept up in the hype, this video might be your reset button. Today I'm breaking down 7 lessons I had to learn the hard way. And listen, one of these lessons has completely changed how I buy, open, and share whiskey. And honestly, I have not looked at my shelf the same way since. All right, my name's Corey. I run a whiskey nonprofit. I have picked dozens of single barrels, and honestly, I've spent way more than I care to admit on this hobby that I absolutely love. All right, let's jump in. All right, so think about it. Have you ever bought a backup before you'd be willing to open the original bottle just to keep the illusion alive? I used to think backups were smart, like I was planning for some bourbon apocalypse. So I'd buy 1, even 2 backups sometimes because, what if it disappeared forever? And I'm telling you, it wasn't about drinking it later. It was about feeling safe now. And the funny thing is, most of those bottles eventually came back, and if they didn't, I just moved on. So now I don't worry about backups anymore, regardless if I'll ever see it again, because when that whiskey's gone, you know it did its job. You actually enjoyed it. And to be honest, isn't that the point of this whole thing? But these lessons weren't all about buying whiskey. It was how I was drinking them too. Okay, so I know most of us have been there in our early whiskey journeys where we thought every drink had to be out of a Glencairn. And sure, it is fantastic for picking up notes and it has a definite time and place. But some of my best moments have been drinking out of a solo cup or even a coffee mug or just a regular whiskey glass with ice. And I'm telling you, sometimes precision isn't the point. Presence is. So you don't need perfect glassware for the perfect moment. You just need a good pour and someone to share it with. But yeah, I still use a Glencairn. I'm not a monster, but I don't stress it anymore. The perfect glass is the one that's in your hand when the moment's right. And all that drinking, it wasn't happening alone. So lesson 3. All right, when COVID started, I was already into whiskey, but I'm telling you, I got deep into whiskey. And I'm not just talking bottles. I'm talking about Facebook groups, Patreon groups, virtual tastings, and everything you can think of, just like many of you. And honestly, it absolutely helped. It gave me structure during a time of absolute chaos. It gave me something fun and interesting to look forward to, and honestly, connected me to some of the most amazing people I've ever met. But when the world opened up, I noticed something. Most of my whiskey friends were just whiskey connections. And although we traded bottles and some funny stories from time to time, the connection was rarely deeper than that. And that's when I realized whiskey can absolutely build an amazing community, but only if you allow it to be the starting point, not the whole point. So don't get me wrong, I absolutely love being part of the whiskey community, but I make sure that it supports real connection and it doesn't replace it. And as COVID went on, I eventually realized I wasn't just chasing connections, I was chasing bottles. And there was honestly a time when I thought I could keep up. Every lottery, drop, I was chasing it like it was a full-time job. I had alerts, text strings. It was literally like Pokemon Go, but with like 6 a.m. lineups. And I'm not saying it wasn't fun. It was actually quite a blast, but eventually it started to wear on me. Because here's the cold hard truth. There is no finish line. There's no completion badge. When you get 1, 3 more hit the shelves. You miss 1 and you kind of feel like you're getting left behind. And yes, I definitely chase a bottle here and there, something that I'm really looking forward to. But if I don't get it, it's okay. I don't stress it. And let's be honest, nobody in this hobby has tasted it all and nobody's keeping score. So that shift helped, but I still had to untangle things like hype. So like many, I've stood in lines, I've entered bourbon lotteries, and I've refreshed pages like it's the damn Bourbon Olympics. And more times than I wish to remember, I've cracked that bottle and poured it, and I'm like, wait, that's what I've been looking forward to? And that's the problem with hype, is it messes with your taste buds before you even get the chance to try the bottle. So I've had $40 bottles absolutely crush $200 bottles, and vice versa. I've had bottles that were hyped absolutely live up to the hype. All this is to say I absolutely still get excited about bottles, but I let my palate be the final say, not the hype machine or some buddy that told me it's the best bottle he's ever had.
This is the greatest thing I have ever seen in my life. This is amazing.
And if it's good, it's good. If it's not, it's not, and I just move on. And since we're talking about hype, let's go ahead and talk about proof. So when I got into bourbon, I thought proof told the whole story, right? Because you have more proof equals more flavor equals better whiskey. It's simple math, right? But over time, I started to realize proof can offer more depth, sure, but it has to be in the right setting. Context matters, mood matters, and the people you're with. I mean, seriously, we've all been there. The memes are for days of someone pulling out the 140 proof hazmat bottle or a high proof stag or something and blowing out your buddy's palate.
Oh my God, I almost died. I almost died. It was so scary. Thank you.
And I've done it. I've been there. Let's not pretend I haven't done it myself. But the point of this is it's not for every situation. You don't always have to pull the high proof bourbon. There are tons of bourbons that are not high proof that are super enjoyable and honestly fit the situation you're in probably a lot better than pulling out your stag. So no, proof doesn't equal quality, and the right pour is just the one that fits the situation. And this last one is the absolute most important lesson of all. So I'll keep this one short. I've saved rare bottles for people that had absolutely no idea what they were drinking. And then I've saved bottles so long I completely forgot what I was saving them for. And the funny thing is, the only thing I regret is the bottles I saved for the perfect moment that never came. And that's the point. Great pours equal great memories, and they're meant to be shared. So yeah, it turns out I've made a few mistakes. Some expensive, some stupid, and some kind of funny. But that's kind of the fun of that. And that's actually probably the last lesson is these are 7 lessons that helped me. That doesn't mean that all these lessons are gonna help you. But the bottom line is enjoy whiskey how you want. Drink it how you want, collect it how you want. It's not my place to tell you. But if you were struggling with any of these FOMO situations, or you always thought you had to drink out of a Glen, then some of these lessons actually might help you enjoy the hobby a little bit more. So if you've made any of these mistakes, you're in good company. And hey, if you've got your own take, or you think that my take on these lessons were a little off base, go ahead and throw it in the comments. I am all ears. And honestly, if you stuck around till now, maybe hit that subscribe button. I've got plenty more coming your way, and I really appreciate you all following along. So with that, I'll see you on the next one. Cheers.